Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing today? And Happy New Year! And Happy New Year to you and yours. And welcome to the latest edition of Drew Mania Live. Nice to have you with us for this Monday, the 8th day of January, the year 2018. And of course, I am Angelo Perry. Thank you very much, y'all. As always, coming to you live and at you from the busy streets of Brooklyn, New York, and it's much better, but it's still chilly out there. As I chat to you, what's happening in the world of sports? We got the national championship game in college football to look forward to, as Alabama look to win their fifth national championship, their fifth title in 9 years since Paul Bear Bryant. From 1964 till 1979, and Nick Saban looking to keep their winning streak alive in the city of Atlanta, and Atlanta has been good to Nick Saban, as you all know. But before we get into the national championship game, let's recap real quickly NFL wildcard game, which for the most part it was really good games. I really like good games, especially on Sunday. Jacksonville and Buffalo, we expect it to be a defensive struggle. But as far as Buffalo's concerned, listen, Buffalo had a tremendous year. They wasn't expected to be in the playoffs, so to get into the playoffs and play as hard as you did against probably one of the you could say one of the number one best defense in the NFL, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and play them tight, and could have make it interesting towards the end, but you turn the ball over, and there you go right there. But they quarterback. But the first thing Buffalo needs to start before the Buffalo needs to get back next year is start looking for another quarterback, because I think if Buffalo going to get back to the playoffs, they got to figure out go farther. I should say in the playoffs, they need to figure out the quarterback position. They really have to figure it out one way or another, because Tyrod Taylor, you see making some mistakes, even though he's not a rookie anymore. You still see some struggles and throughout the year. Same as Nick Bolton, as Bortles from Jacksonville. Jacksonville got to play a lot better. They got to score a lot more points against this Steelers team, because this is not going to be the same Steelers team when they face early in the season, and it should be an interesting matchup. Now on Sunday, with the Saints Panthers game. You could listen. I have nothing negative to say about Cam Newton, and Cam Newton played well harder to play his rear end off long enough to help him win this game. But the Saints, you could say, their defense is really, really, really good, and I think we have a fascinating matchup against Minnesota. Against the Vikings this week, and probably the best matchup of this division around the Saints and the Vikings should be very, very entertaining, and the Saints Panthers game is the best. Is probably the most competitive game of the week. And as far as the Rams is concerned, the Rams is not there yet. We underestimate the Falcons. We underestimate the experience. We see last year. We know why, but the Falcons showed they could play as good, as better. And when the Falcons play like this, they are a very, very solid team. Now, as far as the Rams is concerned, now listen. In the first half, you gotta make when the ball is behind you or aside of you. You gotta when the ball's behind you, you have to let it go. You have to let it go. You cannot push your team further back than the punt return for the Rams did. And everybody, I hear on different shows that it cost them the game. That wasn't the case. It wasn't the case because the Rams, the LA Rams still had multiple chances to win this game. So I'm not blaming that. Personally, I'm not going to blame that play on that punt return. But you got to do a better job. God would do a better job. And in the NFL, and then in the playoffs, you got to play smart. Which brings me to the game that really takes away from this whole weekend. And the Tennessee Titans came back from 21-3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, we could get into everything. Why the defense screwed up, the fumble that cost them the game. How the Titans come back to this game? I asked myself this question from Sunday, and I can't fathom how you blew an 18-point lead. And this is clearly on Andy Reid, clearly. And you know what? It's time for in Kansas City. You have to, coaching wise, I don't know what you're going to do about Alex Smith. That's Lamar Hunt's call. However, but in the coaching, there changes need to be made because how long Andy Reid has been the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs and has done nothing prior to that first playoff win on the road against the Texans. But not only that, that's besides the point. To me, out of all the losses in the 90s, yes, the Colts, the Broncos. The Broncos was a little bit better than Kansas City. The Colts, they was on a winning streak. They could have won this game. They could have lost that. They could have won that game too. The Pittsburgh one, they had a chance to make a comeback. They didn't. Okay. They haven't won a home playoff win since 1993. All that said, but the main thing why I take away from this game, especially in this weekend, out of all the easy wins the Chiefs could have at home and break the losing streak at home, this was the game to win. You cannot, and in any circumstances, lose this game if you're Kansas City. Tennessee was limping to the playoffs. Don't tell me Tennessee. Yes, Derrick Henry run the football effectively. Marcus Mariota played well. I understand that. I understand in the playoffs, we don't know nothing. I understand the NFL is very predictable. Fair enough. But the bottom line is this. Kansas City did not got them to win the game. And all coaches does this all the time. Once they get into the playoffs, they don't dance with the girl that really bring them to the dance. And that is the problem. And I'll say it again. Out of all the wins they could have won. This is the game they should have won. When you have a 21-3 lead, you have to close it out. You have to run the football. I'm not blaming Alex Smith for this because Alex Smith played his butt off. But at some point, I will say about Alex Smith on this. Alex Smith at some point got, just like Matt Ryan in the Super Bowl for the Falcons, you got to take control of the game and say, you know what, we got to win this game. And they didn't do that. And the Kansas City Chiefs lose again. And let me say this, they are worse than the Jets. They are worse than the Jets. Ever since that playoff win in Super Bowl IV, the Chiefs in the playoffs have done absolutely positively nothing. And you know what? Until that happens, do not trust the Chiefs in the playoffs. Now, that's all I got to say about and Tennessee. Congratulations for making a comeback, and give them credit when credit's due. But you better be sharper against New England. Say what you want about New England. Say what you want about the Patriots. Here's the thing: if you're New England, if you're Tennessee, if you don't play sharp, they will lose this game. It is as simple as that. Now, real quickly, because I'm running out of time a little bit, I want to spend a little time on the national championship game, which is tonight, and I'm gonna be looking for Georgia as this. Will Georgia become ready to play, or they'll still be hangover from the comeback at the Rose Bowl? Because usually, if you watch sports long enough, no matter what sport it is, teams that make a huge comeback, they stay stuck in that moment, and they don't come back. Is Georgia going to be that team, or are they going to be ready to go against Alabama? And I told you this, as simple as that. To beat Alabama, you have to take them out of. You have to put points on the board. Field goal, you cannot play a field goal game against Alabama. They will shut you down. Their defense is good enough. We've seen it for the last 9 years. And if you don't do that, Georgia will not win the national championship. But this says Alabama written all over, but I expect Georgia to pull up a fight. And on that note, that's going to do it for this edition of Drew Mania Live. For more information about my show, listen to my show on Facebook, listen to my show on iHeartRadio, and listen to and watch my show on YouTube. And follow my show on Facebook and Twitter. I have more episodes coming near you on Spreaker.com. This is Andrew Perry always saying to you, Shalom, let peace go with you, and I'll talk to you in the next Drew Mania Live. So long, everybody. Enjoy the national championship day, and I'll talk to you then. And once again, Happy New Year, everybody.